Alright, so if you've been watching the recent videos, you know that Sword and Shield slowing down and Scarlet Violet is the way to go right now. People are going after the booster boxes among other things, and there's a lot of price rises going, like Paldea Evolved reached almost $400 yesterday. And what I did is I opened up the cases today because there's a lot of case opportunity. And I don't always cover cases, so this is sort of a, hey, if you want to just look at the case prices, see if anything's a buy, I'm going to go over the listings, and I have some tables to just go over some comparisons of what's possibly a good buy. So I'll just go over them in order. So Scarlet Violet base is at about 1825 now for 6. All these prices are pretty crazy. It's been selling cases kind of recently. You see like one sold today, one sold on actually just this whole month. Like there's already been 3 cases or 4 cases sold this whole month. Before that it was a little less. You see that it's been bunching up. In the month of August there wasn't as much, probably because Sword and Shield was kind of picking up, but there was a little bit before that. And as far as pricing goes, no one's actually paid 1800 yet. The price before this, just a few days ago, the price was about 1400. I guess it's a 1500. And even before that, in like end of August, it was about 1300. So this has been going up by pretty quickly. Like it hasn't been that long. Just like about 2 weeks, it's already gone up. And yeah, someone has finally paid one for 1600 right now. These are probably pretty scarce because not a lot of people probably have these. So like, of all the sets, like a lot of people didn't really want to go about a base. And yeah, the lowest listing is about 1800 right now. For Paldea Evolved, this has always been a really expensive case. It's about 3150 right now. There was a few sold for a few days ago. 4 of them sold September 8th. One sold September 3rd. And at the end of August, there was a little bit of a bunch up with this. Probably this is around when actually SP base wasn't being bought. So yeah, Paldea was kind of the obvious play around then. See a little bit of case bunch up. I definitely see like in like Paldea actually reached like a lot around there's a big buyout at the end of June, and it kind of like slowed down. And recently at the end of August there's been a lot of activity for Paldea cases relative. And before this they were like there's actually been a few sales recently for about $3,000. For this it was around 2700. Like Paldea just went up, so it kind of makes sense. And before that it was around 2400 end of August, but this has also gone up quite a bit. Let's say like roughly 2400. There's already sales at 3,000. It's already listed to 30, about 3,200 almost, and then there's even like only 2 cases until there's the next price jump. There's just probably not a lot of these. Actually, Trading Card World has like half the supply of these cases. For Scarlet Violet base, you see there's Trading Card World has a bunch of these. So Trading Card World is kind of putting a limit on the prices. After these 2, it goes over here to 1870. City Flames, it's about 2100 now. There was about 1 sold yesterday, and then in the rest of September there wasn't much at the end of August. So there's a sort of end of August thing where a lot of people bought more. There's also this little break over here, and then there are more sales over here. And then when I look at the sold listings, this was around like early August. It was around 1500. Toward the end of August, it got to like 1700 to 1800, and now it's about 2000 last sold. Now it's about 2100 listed. Paradox has actually seen a bunch of cases sold yesterday. So 4 sold yesterday, 1 sold today. I remember you could get these for like $600. It's pretty crazy. And there's been kind of a good spread of Paradox sold throughout the whole month. And Paradox has actually sold quite well those last few months. People have been picking up Paradox cases. This has not been a new thing. People have been slowly picking these up. And the price of these has been more stable because of that. Like you see end of August, August 26th, you see 1500, then goes to about 1600, then goes like 1700 like a few days ago. Now the price is about 1800, and then now the listed price is about 1900. So not as big of a rise, but it's been bought more steadily, so it's a little more stable. Temporal Forces sold 2 a few days ago, September 7th, and there's also a big break in like mid-August. Not as much activity, but there's been a little more. You can see just like more sold per day in the end of starting around about a month ago. And then if you look at the pricing, it was about 1800 recently. End of August it was actually around 1500, 1550, then goes 1650, and then 1800. Right now it's listed for 2000. And so yeah, a lot of the listed prices are quite a bit higher than the last sold price. And then Temporal sold like 5 cases a few days ago, and the beginning of September 7th. You see some break over here. Otherwise, it's been fairly consistent. It's definitely sold a lot more at the end of August. You see it's a lot more dense over here. And when I look over here, end of August, it was around 1900 to 2000. Probably 2000 is pretty common. And then it finally sold for 2100 a few days ago. Now the price is back to 2000 actually. So this is kind of an exception. There's actually one cheaper one over here. So this might be a good buy. Otherwise, it will go back up. And then for Stellar Crown, 1800, this is also like $600 a case back then. Three cases sold a few days ago. There's only 5 cases on the market. This is actually really low. So these things are getting like really rare. I remember, I think I saw a Nostalgic Knowledge video recently. It said Paldea, there's not a lot of listings compared to even like Fusion, like Brilliant Stars or something. And yeah, this has been selling for 1600 recently. Before that, it was selling for about 1400 ish. At the sort of endish of August, and then right now it's about 1800. So doing pretty well, but there's not a lot on the market. And then Surging Sparks over here. Surging Sparks is actually one of the cheaper ones. Sold 12 yesterday. People have definitely been buying Surging Sparks in the last 30 days. So you see end of August about 1400, then goes to 1500, and then 1560. If I look at these sales, yeah, it's definitely more consistent sales. Just 1500 a few days ago. Yeah, way more sales of this. Like someone bought 10 cases for 600 each. Way more activity. Surging Sparks has been a more obvious buy. And it's also one of the cheaper ones. But yeah, when I look at the listings, there's definitely a lot more. 198 cases. So this is actually like a big difference. Like even Stellar currently has 5, and then Twilight has like 64. Temporal has 6. Paradox has 17. Obsidian has 24. Paldea has 15, and then SC base has 47. But so yeah, like Surging Sparks and Twilight Mastery a little bit, they're the big outliers. They have the most cases listed. I think this is part of the reason why Surging Sparks is still so cheap, because the cases are still quite really available compared to other boxes. Okay, now looking at the case demand. So I put down just the listed price per case. Like it's not really as accurate because some of the prices are quite a bit higher. But yeah, you see some crazy prices per box. Like a lot of boxes are already like almost every box is $300 plus. After you divide by 6 to get per box, and only Surging Sparks at 275. Surging Sparks is a good amount cheaper. Like you can already see like 1650. The minimum for each case is about 1825, and there's a few cases. A lot of the cases are around 1800 to 2000. The exceptions are Obsidian Flames at 2100, and Paldea is a big outlier. Like it kind of reminds you of all these guys a little bit. It just pulls so much further ahead. When I look at the difference for the booster boxes, so over here I sorted it a little bit. So this is per box, and then this is a difference. Like I just took the normal data that I usually do every day. And the biggest difference right now is Temporal Forces. It's like $88 more per box. SD base is so the ones that have a huge case premium right now are Temporal Forces, SV base, Paradox Red, surprisingly Stellar Crown. But Stellar Crown has like a really low supply for some reason. So Stellar Crown, that probably explains why Stellar Crown is still so expensive. Just because there's so little supply of it right now that people can kind of choose the price. Paldea Evolved, I thought there'd be a bigger one. I guess it recently went up, so it kind of makes a little more sense. And then, well, what you kind of see is that a lot of the newer sets like Twilight and Surging Sparks, like they're a good amount cheaper. Like they're the newest sets of all this list. Obsidian Flames is possibly a buy because it's not that much more expensive per case. But you also know that Surging Sparks and Twilight have a little more in the markets. And over here, I actually have some data from a past video, like over here. I took it in June, so I just listed the prices I saw back then just for fun. And yeah, you see as sorted in order. Like in these last that's about 2 months, 2.5, a little less than 2.5 months. These are differences. The things that have risen the most is Paldea Evolved, Paldea Obsidian Temporal Paradox. So these are kind of like the early sets. SC base should technically be there, but you see like in the last few months, like there's definitely been a shift toward people buying out the earlier stuff to the later stuff. Like Surging, Twilight, and Stellar, they haven't risen as much on the case wise as like the early stuff. SC base is kind of the exception. It was a little cheaper. But yeah, it's kind of for cases. Like there's a little bit of opportunity in there because you know these are really like booster boxes are already getting really rare. Cases are definitely gonna be really rare. Alright, I'm gonna segue into the normal booster box updates. So Scarlet Violets, Paldea Evolved still up 490, sold 2 yesterday, And now there's a little bit of bunch around 490. There were fewer boxes until 500 yesterday. Now a lot of people have listed boxes at this price. This kind of always happens. Something rises, then people flood to try to offload their stuff to get the price. But honestly, just wait. This thing's gonna keep going up. Like I honestly, the way this bull market works, like end of next year, don't I just wouldn't be surprised if we see Paldea at like $1,000 or something. Like that's how extreme this is getting. SD base. So I've been talking about the first four sets. They're going on rotation. And it's demand's to pick up a little bit. So two sold yesterday, three sold today, and this is starting to head to 250 right now. It's about 240 for a while, and yeah, 250 is right around the corner. There's only about three boxes. 255, 260 is around there as well. For Paradox, I was seeing this hang toward 300. Then kind of had no sales for 2 days. Four sold today, and it's slowed down a little bit. I still see 290 at the bottom. The main issue, yeah, the I see that Moby's corner over here has only 15, has 15 over here, and it's kind of it might be one of the reasons why people aren't buying Paradox because um it's just so many boxes around the same price point. So there's no like, oh, I'm gonna buy this and the price will go up. It's like no, you have to buy like 18 boxes for the price to not really go up at all. Like there's it's pretty flat for a while around 260, and then it suddenly jumps over here. But there's a good amount of quantity to get to 280. So this is kind of I think this is kind of where the jump point is. This is like 265, 275, and then it starts going up a lot higher. So Paradox is a little slow right now. Could mean that's just a good opportunity. City and Flint's also a little slow right now. So four slow yesterday. So barring like about or anything, a lot of the prices are around the same. It's only going up to 350 right now. Stellar Crown reached the new heights at 253, and yeah, look at this at the case data. Stellar Crown makes a little more sense. Like, people liked opening it. People probably opened it for ripper chips, and there's just like so few cases on the market right now. It's pretty crazy. So it's at 253. It always has like only small price increases, but it just steadily goes up, and it's always one of the more expensive sets compared to like the cheapest sets. Actually, is that true right now? It's still more expensive than the Scarlet base. Is still technically more expensive than Temporal based on the current price. Paradox finally surpassed it, and it's actually more expensive than Surging Sparks today. So I guess it's like going into the background because it is a newer set. Other things are starting to catch up to it. Twilight sold two yesterday, one today, and it's around 315, going 320. It's been kind of like that for a while. It feels like Twilight hasn't been moving as much, although the graph says different. The graph says it's been like steadily rising this month. Um, Temporal Forces sold one yesterday, and I really think it's just a weird booster box because I really feel like the price is really closer to like 260. There's another seller here who added more stuff, so it's at 255. But yeah, like I really wish this like some of these listings went away, so like we could finally get more accurate prices for Temporal Forces. And then Surging Sparks, it's I guess there's just too much supply. Like they've done Costco reprints for bundles and stuff. There's too many cases in the market apparently. So eight sold. Um, Eight sold yesterday, and yeah, I'm a little surprised how much Surging Sparks still in the market, but there's enough of it right now that it's just gonna be a matter of time. Once it runs out, I think people will really regret their choice, and eventually it will become so cheap that like you have to buy it. Like we saw the case analysis is like the cheapest case. Right now it's still around 250. There's two big sellers, 15 over here and then 60 over here. So it's just keeping the price down for now. And then for price changes, yeah, Obsidian went down $3. Twilight went up to $5, 314. Stellar Crown new high up $7 to 253, and then Surging Sparks recovered a little bit, back to about 252, up $20. All right, so Sword and Shield, Evolving Skies, the supply is starting to get a little bit more, so we didn't see a sale yesterday. But the number of no, before this, I started seeing there's only like one or two boxes below 2,900. 2,900 is about here. Actually, about here. This is a little less. But now I'm seeing a little bit more, just three boxes around 2,800. So the prices are starting a bunch of around 2,800. Volume Skies is, where is it? Volume Skies over here is up $4. Battle Styles up 13. I want to talk about that. Brilliant is up 20. Astral down 8. Silver Time is down 20. Darkness Ablaze down 4. So let's just look at this. So yeah, Vomit Skies, supplies get a little more, like there's so little supply that honestly, and there's so much interest that's actually really easy for Vomit Skies to just get rid of a cheaper supply all the time. Unlike other things like, like there's Sword and Shield base, whatever. Like that's also, like that's something that like sometimes it gets expensive, but people don't want to buy it. But Vomit Skies will always have that kind of pull. So I feel like even though it's dropping, it's not necessarily going to stay that low. So you're just going to get like some $100 different or whatever. Battle Styles, I've been talking about this. Like, it actually finally has been rising the last couple of days. It's been selling about 7 per day, and it's just it's heading toward $300. Really, like all these sellers I mentioned yesterday, like all these sellers pretty much only have one box for sale except for this one, and it's just been rising the last couple of days. So yeah, people are starting to get to Battle Style just because it's cheap. Um, Astral Radiance, I've been talking about how like so these are the boxes that are still rising. That still have potential. Other boxes haven't. So Astral Radiance took a break. It was selling like 2 or 3 the last couple of days, and it's really heading toward 420 right now. There's only one left, and this is about 420 already. I see you do see it jump to 450. Some people are just going after it because it's cheap and hasn't been moving. Just a little safer in that sense. Silver Tempest still has a little bit of momentum. Like you see a lot of sort of shield graphs, they're kind of leveling out like this. They did their start slow rise, big rise, and then it's just leveling out. So Silver Tempest is kind of doing that a little bit. It's at 465 right now. The next price is 485, 495. Hasn't quite broken 500. Already has some rises, so it might not really rise anymore. But yeah, it still has a good amount of sales though. But yeah, price wise is leveling out. Brilliant Stars was also leveling out. Sold 3 yesterday. I've been talking about Brilliant Stars seemed kind of cheap. It went down to 520. I was at 540. But like I always see only a couple of listings around that price. It goes to 600. So there's definitely some interest in Brilliant Stars, but otherwise it is kind of leveling out. Fusion Strike definitely leveling out. Not a lot of sales at all since August 30th, and the supply under 1050 or under 1100 is just more and more. Like there's over 10 boxes now. There's just too much supply. This is already 3 plus 6, that's 9. It's already 13 boxes. So seeing that happen with Fusion Strike and also Lost Origin. Lost Origin also leveling off. So it has a little better demand than Fusion Strike, but what you see is yeah, the number of boxes below 900 is just increasing. Now it's about it looks like about 8 or something. But yeah, there was definitely less than before, it just couldn't break through. Chilling Rain sold none last 2 days, and yeah, it's Chilling Rain. Honestly, it's one of the more easier ones to slip. It tends to drop like first initially. Now it's about 550. It was heading towards 600, and just I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps going. People don't really like Chilling Rain enough to keep buying it. Vivid Voltage, the other cheap Sword and Shield set. Zero sold yesterday. It's not an alt-art set, so it's probably not rising as much, but you know, it could go to like 270, but it's not rising as fast as Battle Styles. Nothing happens. Sword and Shield base, no sale. Actually, let me just yeah, no sales, and then Rebel Clash also no sales. Alright, quick celebrations recap. So the demand's been praised the last couple of days. I'll just go over it for those who are interested. So ETB demand you see kind of drops. It's very consistent, and then you see 2 consecutive days without sales, and it's just been like not as active lately. Price is still about the same, around 250, 260-ish. UPCs, yeah, their demand just slowed also. I was selling almost every other day, and no sales for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. One finally sold yesterday, and you know it's been trying to head to $1,000. A lot of people bunch around 975. For PCTBs, you see like it was a bunch of people almost selling almost every day. Now 2 consecutive days without sales, so there's also been a little non-interest there. Still really close to $400, but just a little bit of a slowdown. And then for packs, you see, yeah, not a lot of packs sold at all, so I'm not gonna go over that. The price has gone up to $18.50 though. There was some cheaper one at $17.50. Collector chests sold none in 2 days, and one sold yesterday. Price is still maintaining around 145. It could rise to 150, 155, 160, but otherwise it's kind of the same as before. And then Prime collection over here, which I just like to, or a figure collection. It's been selling the last couple of days, and it could jump from like 160 something to 190 pretty soon. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.